So how do I snip an image from a web page or a document? That's what the purpose of this tutorial is going to be. So as you can see, I'm now on a website and I'm running Windows 7 on a personal computer, and I'm going to come on down here to the Start button. I'm going to start typing in SNIP, and as you can see, as I type in Snip, Snipping Tool pops up. So I can go ahead and just go and click on Snipping Tool, which then activates this snipping toolbar right here. So at this point, as you can see, it's already whited out the rest of the screen, and my arrow cursor has turned into a crosshair cursor. So now wherever I click and drag, that part of the screen is going to, when I let go, turn into an image. Now in this case, I can certainly save that by clicking on the disk and then saying, yeah, I want to call it Capture, and I'm going to put it onto my desktop, or I can change the title to Practice Capture. I want to always save it as a JPEG file on my desktop, and I click on Save, and voila. If I go ahead and close out the snipping tool and I minimize my browser, I'll notice that right there on my desktop as I saved it is an image of what I snipped from that particular website. So this is the Windows 7 best way to go through, and the simplest way is to use a snipping tool to capture images on websites or documents. Now what if you don't have Windows 7? Well, then you don't have the snipping tool feature. And so for that, what you'll need to do, if you have Vista or if you're running Windows XP or possibly even an older operating system, the way you capture a particular part of the screen is by pushing the print screen button, which is usually to the left of the F12 key on your keyboard. So as you can see right now, I've got my desktop up. I could launch a web browser and come back to my San Diego County Office of Education website. Now here I am. I'm going to go ahead and click or push the print screen key, which is to the right of the F12 key, and nothing happens on the screen, but what it tells the computer is to copy exactly what's on the screen onto your clipboard. So at this point, what I can do is I can come on over and launch my PowerPoint file, application I should say, and as PowerPoint launches, I come to the first slide, and in this case, if I was to come up to, if I was to right click on the slide, if I was to right click, I can see under Paste Options, and it says Paste. See, I can either paste a picture or paste just the regular paste. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Paste, and as you'll notice, the entire slide, of course it's gigantic now, has been filled with the image. Now the reason you're seeing that orange part is because I've got two screens, so it actually captured both of my screens. But in your case, you'll just get one of these slides. So let me push back in, and now that I'm here, I'm simply going to double click on the image, and once I do that, the ribbon changes and I have this cropping tool. So when I click on the right side down triangle and it says crop, the image that I've got now shows up with these black bars, and I can simply crop to wherever it is that I want to crop to. Say I don't want the rest of the browser, I just want the page itself, so I can simply grab the edges, just come on down, and when I click out, the only thing that remains is the image that I was looking for. Now it's still in a PowerPoint, so I would need to right click on the image, and when I do, a contextual menu pops up and I can scroll down to Save as Picture. And when I save it as a picture, it pops up again and again. I can save it onto my desktop or wherever I'd like to save it to. In this case, you have the option of either saving it as a PNG file or other sorts of files. I recommend JPEG for just about all of these. So it's going to be called Picture 1 JPEG. I'm not going to put it in my pictures. I'm going to put it onto my desktop for now. Click on Save. And when I close out my PowerPoint, don't need to save it anymore, and I go to my desktop, voila, there's an image of the cropped picture that I was looking for, using PowerPoint as a cropping tool. Now what if you don't have PowerPoint 2010? And you don't have those cropping features? Well, you can do the same thing, except not use PowerPoint. You can use Microsoft Paint, which comes with all all installations of Windows. So in this case, now remember, I clicked on Print Screen, and so the entire screen is still saved onto my clipboard. So I'm going to come on down to the Start button, and now I'm going to start typing in Paint, and as you can see, Microsoft Paint pops right up. When I launch Paint, I come to this window right here. So the way I would paste it now that Paint has been launched is simply click on Paste, and voila, there is the browser that I had saved onto my clipboard, the image of the browser that I saved onto my clipboard. Now, if I want to resize this image, I would simply click on resize, and I can say, yeah, go horizontally or vertically, but I don't want to do any of that stuff. I simply want to crop a component of my picture. So I'm going to come on up and click the crop button, and wherever I draw, let's say I just want this picture, so crop is grayed out. That's because I'm in the cropping mode. You can see the arrow cursor is turned into a crosshairs cursor. I'm just going to simply grab that and drag out. I say I just want that image, and when I let go of the mouse, that's what's going to be cropped. When I click the crop button the second time, and voila, now I've got just the image from my larger image that I had saved onto my clipboard. And then I simply come on up, click the right side down triangle, save it as either a PNG or a JPEG, and again, I would do it as a JPEG. I'll leave it untitled, and again, I'm not going to save it on the picture. I'm going to save it on the desktop. Click on save, and when I go ahead and close out, there is that image as I cropped using my print screen function on my keyboard and Microsoft's free Paint service that comes with all operating systems. Next, I'll show you how you can do this if you have a Macintosh system. So now we're switching over to the Macintosh world. Here we are on a website. The way to snip a Macintosh, the way to snip an image on a Macintosh operating system is to use the grab function in Apple Macintosh operating system. So I've gone ahead and minimized that window, and I'm going to come over here to my hard drive. As I click on it, I come over here to Applications. I double click on it, and it's going to load all of my applications on my computer, and I'm going to scroll down until I find Utilities, which, as you can see, is right over here. So I double click on Utilities, and it's going to populate my Utilities folder. There they are. And under my Utilities folder, what you will be able to find is this little ditty right here called grab. So the first thing that I would do is I would actually grab the grab icon, and I would drag it and drop it into your dock, so you don't have to go through that stuff again. So now that I've done so, I've got my grab feature here. When I click on it, double click on it I should say, I can look up here to the left and I can see that my software has launched. So I would simply come on over and click on Capture. Now I can either capture an entire window, just one of the active screens perhaps on my desktop, or I can just go to Selection. When I click on Selection, as you can see, this little window pane pops up. It says drag over the portion of the screen you want to capture. So let me go ahead and grab that, put it to the side. I just want to capture these three icons. So I'm going to come over and click, hold down, and drag across, and let go. And now that has been captured. The problem here, however, is that it is captured as what's referred to as a TIFF file, a TIFF file, which is not very compatible with a number of different web-based resources. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And it says, where do you want to save it? Well, we'll go ahead and call it Test Capture, and we'll keep it on the desktop. So just click on Save. And as you'll notice in just a second, there's the TIFF file. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out now. And now I'm going to double-click on the saved image, the saved TIFF file, and it's going to launch it into a preview mode. And here's what I've got. Here's a preview mode, and it's the image that I want, but it's a TIFF file. So now that I'm looking at it through the preview pane, I'm going to come up to, notice preview, to File, and I'm going to scroll down to Export. And when I click on Export, it'll say, okay, we're going to still call it Test Capture. We're going to save it onto your desktop, but now we're going to change the format by clicking on the window and selecting our good old trusty JPEG format. And keeping the quality at about 80% is a good idea. You can certainly push it all the way up to 100% if you'd like to. And I click on Save, and voila, I have the same image, except now one is a TIFF, one is a JPEG. So I can go ahead and close that out, grab the TIFF, drop it into my trash can, and she's gone. And now I have a beautiful image that I grabbed using my grab utility, and it's a JPEG file.